Congratulations on the film because I know it did really well, box office wise, considering the situation that we're all living in. Few theaters open. So how satisfying was it for you to to be doing well in the box office? That measures something about the movie.
Yeah, it was very exciting to see it in. Basically, it didn't open in many traditional theaters in the United States. It mostly opened in drive-in theaters. I don't know if do you have those in Spain?
Now we used to have them, and now they're back.
Yeah, they're back. Same here. So it was exciting to see it in a drive-in theater experience, especially at the beginning of the quarantine and COVID, where most people were just staying at home. So it was a chance to go out and kind of get a sense of a crowd, and it did really well. It's a perfect movie to see at a drive-in theater with a lot of scares, a lot of thrills, a lot of moments where people are all screaming out together. So yeah, it's a perfect movie for that.
Let me ask you: is it a exploration on growing pains? Becky Lulu Wilson does a great job, but she's angry at life because several things happen to her, and she's trying to accommodate into a new life, but she doesn't feel the respect. She doesn't get the respect that she thinks she should be getting, I think, from the adult world. Do you see it that way?
Definitely. We always thought of it as a really violent coming of age film, which is, it's a very typical story for everyone that you're growing up and you have to become more like an adult. And that's this essence of a coming of age. But at the same time, usually what happens is the kids need to learn to be more like an adult. In this case, it was almost like the kid learning not to be like the adults that she's surrounded by. The adults around her are all very corrupt and very misguided. So she has to decide, does she want to become like these people or maybe be a little bit different, which is maybe different in the normal coming of age. You're kind of learning to work or learning to love or learning to just be a normal adult in the normal world. So yeah, it's a different look at coming of age.
What I like about the story is that she decided to confront reality, not run away. Could you comment about that? It's very courageous of her to do that. I will be running away, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We made a very we thought about that a lot because I think just in a lot of times when you're watching movies that are horror movies or thrillers, you just think, well, like, why don't they just leave? It's one of our favorite movies, Get Out. It's like that's the name of the movie, was just get out of the haunted house, run away. So with Becky, though, it was that we wanted to be very clear at a certain point in the movie. She makes the decision that she's not going to run away. She's going to get revenge because these guys took everything from her. So she's not just going to leave because she's afraid. She wants to take her life into her own hands and be in control.
I think that the father is not very mature, right?
Yeah. That
It's
was
childish.
when my mother read or saw the movie. My mother said, "That father is terrible."
And he even brings all his friends from jail.
The Dom or which one is that? The Kevin James character or yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's terrible. But both of those actors were amazing. Kevin James is mostly known for comedy, and this was his first time ever doing a role like this. And we really think he did it kind of subtle, not over the top, but very menacing, very scary, very physical. And then Joel McHale, who plays Becky's father, also very much known for comedy, just did a great job. Playing someone who's a little bit more grounded.
How important are the actors when it comes to a film in which many sequences are within a confined environment at home, and they're intense scenes, but they're all interacting in a space? Is that a pro or something difficult to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, we love working in confined spaces like that. I think you don't need a big budget, you don't need a big crew, and you can really focus on the characters and their interactions in a specific way. So we think it's great, and with a cast like this, we had so much fun every day on set. So,
what makes this story universal? I think it can be appreciated anywhere, but why?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think because it does deal with those aspects of growing up and just kind of the moral questions that you have to deal with, and just kind of how far you are willing to go to live your life in a certain kind of way.
I would like to know, what do you think has been the impact of the pandemic in the film industry? I mean, there are low or middle budget films that are getting a lot of attention, which is a silver lining. I think it's good because it gives opportunity to directors that otherwise they will be shadowed by big blockbusters. So there's something good going on too, right? Or how do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's good and bad, like you say, from the viewing standpoint, all the way to the production standpoint. I think there's been challenges in making movies over the last few months. Of course, you don't want to be on a set, like you say. If we were filming Becky during COVID, it might be okay because we were all a group kind of in the country, just kind of in a bubble. But if one person got that, you'd be terrified that the whole crew and the cast would get it. So, it presents challenges.
And you would have to be like this all the time.
Yeah,
Right?
which is not good for acting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good for delivering your lines. Also, for the last 8 months or 7 months, I've been watching wonderful films, not only American independent films, but also films from Macedonia, from Lithuania, and they're wonderful. And the only reason why I'm able to watch them is because they're all there and the big productions are not invading the market. So for me, it's really great to appreciate it, to be able to be part of that movement. Do you feel that this is a good, positive change for all of us, for everybody?
One of the other things is not only, like you're saying, with being able to see a lot of the smaller movies, but also going back and watching some of the great old movies. Carrie and I have been watching a lot of, there's a channel called Criterion Channel here, which is very, very, like some of the best old movies, all kind of, what is the word? Choreographed for you.
Curated?
Curated, yeah.
Curated.
Yeah, so, I mean, just to have the time, so you're not just like, oh, here comes the next Marvel movie, the next Star Wars movie. It's like, oh, well, let's go back and watch some of the great movies from the past. Let's go watch Hitchcock again. Let's go watch
Godard.
Yeah, Godard. It's like, go back and watch those and see what, how they influenced all the movies that we're watching now. It's really special to have a little bit more time to do that.
Okay, do you see yourself as fighters? Because I just want to say, Becky was supposed to be part of the Tribeca Film Festival 2020, but unfortunately the festival was canceled in a way. But then here you are. The film has been watched for many people in North America, and now it's doing international things. So what did you do? Are you like warriors, or you're just sitting there being cool? You have a good marketing people, or?
Well, I think anybody that's in the film industry has to be a warrior. You have to have a real thick skin. Because even before the film was finished, the pandemic hit. So we had to finish the film on computers, which is very difficult. Doing the final process of sound and color, you want to be in person, and we had to do that on a computer. So even before it was done, we were fighting. But yes, that's a good way of putting it. A warrior.
And just
everybody is. Everybody's dealing with their own trials right now. So
why do you work together, and how important was it for you to be part of the Parsons School? It was different from filmmaking, I guess, right? So what happened?
Well, that is one of the reasons why we do work together, because we started at design school, Parsons School of Design, as animators. And animators
Yeah.
more traditionally work collaboratively and work together. So that's how we started in working in motion and video. And so when we started doing live action, we were working as a team, and we just kind of took that into our movie making process.
The streaming platforms have changed the industry and the way we consume. Do you think is that something positive or negative, or it could be a little negative to certain aspects of, or
As long as the theaters open back up and you still have that option.
Yeah.
Because we love going to the movies, and we love seeing, a projection that's 70 feet wide and tall, and IMAX, where it wraps around you with really great sound. But yeah, in terms of opportunities, and just the not even just movies, that all the great series that are coming out, there's just so much great there's just great stuff to watch right now.
okay, this is the last, and I leave you alone. Okay, do you think that you proved that to be a storyteller and tell a good story, you don't have to have $200 million. You can work outside of the big studios and do a nice product that people appreciate.
Yeah. I think some of our favorite movies come from a production company called Blumhouse, and they've been doing all these great horror films. It seems like a lot of the low budget films are horror, but it just shows that you don't need a big budget to make people scream and really feel something. And I think that's what we're trying to do.